I'll start off the walkthrough by talking about the sheath first, because I think most people will be rewatching this video for the sheath. Now, this time with this batch, I'm providing the sheath with this sort of a paracord knot, and the way you use it is you push the entire knot down and that loosens up these straps, and then you can insert your belt through, and all you have to do is pull on these knots, and then this becomes like rigidly attached to the belt. You can, that's a very convenient way of attaching it to the belt. So, and then you push this knot down and then you can remove it again. Now in case if you don't have a belt, if you're putting it on the bag strap or something and you need to unravel the entire knot, I'm just going to show you how to tie the knot. It's pretty easy. You've got multiple eyelets here, so based on the width of your strap you can decide which one to use, and the knot is pretty straightforward. It's a little fiddly to do, but it's nothing complicated. You thread both the ends, pick your eyelets and thread both the ends through your eyelets, and then just make sure that they're relatively even. Once that's done, you pull this out and then you turn it towards you and turn these two sides inwards. Let me just, so this is the kind of, 1 second. There you go. This is a little bit cleaner. So this is the kind of loop that you're going for, and once this is done, all you've got to do is just thread both ends through those two loops, and you just need to pull on this. Just make sure it's a little fiddly to do it on camera, but yeah, you just keep pulling these ends and you just tighten it up. If they're a little uneven, then you can sort of loosen up the knot and make them more even. Look good. And yeah, that's the knot. And you can put a knot on the ends also over here, just so that it doesn't unravel itself. So it just closes those ends up too. So yeah, this is how you use it. Push it down to loosen it up, pull both ends to tighten it. Now we'll talk about the knives. The Askaris were designed to be the most compact knife that I offer, without going into the folder design, and that's the idea behind designing these Askaris. The steel is 440C high carbon stainless steel, which means that this will not rust unless it's in a very corrosive environment, and it's been air hardened and cryogenically treated, so it's got a very tough edge on it. The handles for this batch I decided to try out with micarta. So these are synthetic handles, and all the previous batches had wooden handles. Now the synthetic micarta comes in two different types: paper micarta, which is this, and fabric micarta, which is this denim, this is burlap, and this is red canvas. So the paper micarta is pretty durable, pretty stable. The interesting thing about the fabric micarta is that when it gets wet, the fibers on the surface swell up a little bit, and they give a much better grip in wet conditions. So people actually prefer this kind of micarta for outdoor knives, and it then dries up and it dries up relatively quickly, and it becomes nice and firm again. In terms of dimensions, the blade is about 3 inches long and the handle is about 4 inches long, with a total length of just about 6.5 inches, slightly longer than that. The handle for these blades are a little bit small because I wanted to make them more compact. That's why I've given a paracord loop, so that you can wrap this loop around your hand and then use it more comfortably without worrying that the knife is going to fly out of your hand in case you're doing some chopping or swinging the knife hard. The construction for the handle is hidden pins. I've decided to show off the material of the handle and decide to hide my pins. So it is a pin construction handle, but then the pins are blind. so they are sandwiched in between, so the hole doesn't go all the way through. And I'm quite liking this overall clean design. And of course we have a lanyard loop which is also functions as a pin, and that locks the entire handle in securely. So you get a very nice clean look for the handle, which I'm quite liking. It takes a little bit more effort to make those hidden pins, but I think it's worth it in the end. I've got a sharpening choil over here, which I do on almost all of my knives, so that when you do resharpen the knife and you're doing it on your stone, the ricasso does not hit your stone, and you can actually sharpen it all the way to the edge, and you don't damage your stone. At the same time, you get the most out of your edge. Usually what happens is when the ricasso is right over here, for regular commercially made knives, you can't really sharpen it all the way to the edge. You've got to stop a few millimeters before. So that's one thing. And the handle is a little bit offset from the butt over here, so that in case you're using the butt of the knife to hammer something down, you're not really damaging the handle, you're hitting just plain steel. Earlier I wanted to actually have an equal offset all throughout the handle, so that little bit of the steel is protruding out, but then I realized it's just taking too much time and it's quite difficult to get it right. So I decided only to put that offset here, because yeah, just so that it's a little bit more functional that way. And this sort of curve over here fits in very nicely with on your finger, so it's quite comfortable to use, and you can get right up into the knife itself. Balance point for all of them is almost the same right here. Because the material is varying a little bit, so it might change slightly, but it's more or less in the same position. For the tip of the knife, this has got quite a fairly robust tip, and I've also put a false edge in this, so that I'm not sacrificing the strength of the tip, but still also getting a good point on this. You can also use this to sort of poke holes or widen holes as a drill bit, because of that false edge and that fairly square cross section tip. And I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that's the idea behind it. Just to add like little features which add to the look of the knife, at the same time are also functional too. About the sheaths, you've got to, just to show you how to put the knife into the sheath. So when you're putting it in, try to put it in until it clicks. Sometimes you put it in halfway through and then it feels like it's locked in, but it will rattle itself out. So just make sure you hear the click when you do it. And to extract the knife from the sheath, you've got a thumb rest here. So you hold the handle, put your finger on put your thumb on the thumb rest, and then just pull it out. Some sheaths are a little bit tighter than the others, so you might need to pull the handle up as you're pulling it out, and then the knife will come out. Try not to hold the sheath here and then pull it out, because you'll end up cutting your fingers. If you've got to hold the sheath, then hold it somewhere here. Make sure that everything is clear from this side, and then you can pull it out. But even then, the sheath is not really designed to be pulled out that way. It's designed to have the thumb here, and then just this is a much easier way of releasing the sheath. Yeah, that's about it with the walkthrough of the Askari. This is the first time I'm doing micarta handles, and I'm really quite liking it. I used to be a little bit wary of synthetic handles, because I thought because of the style of my work and all, I thought the wood will be a much better fit. But I'm really liking these micarta handles, and it takes some time to prepare the micarta block, but the way the material just takes all those facets that I put in and shows it off. And also it's a stable material, so you don't have to worry about it. Once it gets wet, it's not going to move, it's not going to change in dimension at all. Let me just snap all these in. Just feels so good to snap.